Hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Welsh, and this is the American Doofus Show. And this episode, we're going to be talking about what's going on in Louisville, Kentucky. Before I begin, for anyone that happens to be a person of color that's watching, even though I didn't have anything to do with it, I want to say I'm sorry for what happened to your people and to your cultures. They were destroyed in many cases and at best damaged in all cases. And again, even though I personally didn't do anything to facilitate that, I want to say I'm sorry it happened. And I think if more people put some time into studying world and American history, they might be sorry it happened too. On to Louisville. I live in Indiana. I live in central Indiana currently. And Louisville, Kentucky is just across the Ohio River from Indiana. People have said, why are you so fixated on Louisville? And it's because what happens in one small city impacts potentially the whole United States. And what's going on in Louisville is not unique to Louisville. While it might be an extreme case, it's not unique to Louisville. It's not unique to America. Things like this are going on all over the world. Why Louisville is such a hot spot at the moment and such a focus at the moment is because of a woman named Breonna Taylor. I'm going to do a segment on Breonna and more about her. But she was killed by 3 plainclothes LMPD, Louisville Metro Police Department officers. One of the officers has been fired. The other 2 have been placed on administrative leave. There are no arrests. The protests from Breonna Taylor sparked the calling in of the National Guard, the Kentucky National Guard, to Louisville. And during that period, sadly, a man was shot, David McAtee, a restaurant owner in Louisville, beloved restaurant owner in Louisville. And because of the protests of the deaths of those 2 people, a photographer named Tyler Girth was also shot and killed. He was shot and killed by a homeless man with some mental issues named Stephen Lopez. Again, we'll talk more about each one of these things in depth. Tonight's just kind of an introduction into why Louisville. All of this drew the attention of someone named Grandmaster Jay. Now, I had not heard of Grandmaster Jay until July 4th of this year. This is a picture of Grandmaster Jay. I do not own the rights to this picture. This picture is a still from a video off of the YouTube page, OC The Great TV. And I'll put a link to OC The Great TV YouTube so that you can watch that video. Actually, you can just search NFAC or Grandmaster Jay to learn more about Grandmaster Jay and learn more about the NFAC. I'm going to touch on what the NFAC is in just a second, but I want to talk just a little bit more about Grandmaster Jay, if I could. Grandmaster Jay is, his real name is John Fitzgerald Johnson. And Grandmaster Jay was a write-in presidential candidate in 2016. By that, instead of picking from one of the major parties, you can write in a name. and he was a 2016 write-in candidate. I didn't know that again until July 4th of this year. So it wasn't a massive presidential campaign that would have drawn awareness, but yet he was a candidate in 2016. A lot of people, especially white people, the videos I've seen, think this guy's a clown. He's not a clown. He's very well spoken. He's charismatic. He is very good politically, very good with linguistics, and he takes linguistics on a brinkmanship level. He takes things right up to the line, but doesn't cross the line. Very impactful speaker, very powerful speaker. If you saw his speech from the steps of the courthouse in Louisville, again, we're going to go in depth on all of these things. This is just kind of an overview of why Louisville and why Grandmaster Jay. Well, Grandmaster Jay, he was one of the early rap hip hop artists back in the 1980s. And speaking of rap, hip hop, pop culture, I love pop culture, as you know. And one of my favorite movies is a movie Michael Keaton was in called Johnny Dangerously. And in Johnny Dangerously, there was a character named Roman Maroney. And Roman Maroney, when he cussed, you could understand what he was trying to say, but it wasn't in the traditional way, such as he would say "sonum botch" and "fargan icehole." Okay, it's a funny movie if you have the same sense of humor I have. The reason I bring that up is because Grandmaster Jay started a group. It's a black militia group, and it's called the NFAC, and that stands for the Not Farging Around Coalition. Only you know it's not farging, you know what it really is. The NFAC, again, I first became aware of on July the 4th. What happened on July 4th? The NFAC marched into Stone Mountain, Georgia. They had what they called their first formation. And if you have a little bit of military background, you know that troops come to formation. And the militia was called to formation in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Now, the mainstream media said that the group was in Stone Mountain to protest the carvings on the mountain, on the side of Stone Mountain, the carvings honoring the Confederate president and two of the Confederate generals, honoring Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson, and that's not why they were there. The reason they were there was because on social media, someone speaking for the Ku Klux Klan had said that at 8 p.m. on July 4th, the Klan was just going to start killing black people. And this militia gathered in Stone Mountain, Georgia, the home of the Klan, and said that if at 8 o'clock you start killing white people, or start killing black people, then at 8:05 we're going to start killing white people. The purpose of the militia is to protect the lives, the properties, and the rights of the black community. It's an all-black militia. I totally understand why he's doing an all-black militia. It doesn't necessarily mean it's racist. However, some of the things he has said, again, brinkmanship, some of the things he says leads me to believe that the group has some racist tendencies, but it's a very potentially powerful group, and we need to be aware of the group. We don't need to be aware of it in order to stop it. That's not what this is. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying stop this group. I'm saying that they have their right to bear arms. They have their right to peaceably assemble, and if they peacefully assemble, then there isn't any problem. And as you will see, this is what the group looked like in Louisville, Kentucky. As I said, Grandmaster Jay, the attention was drawn to him that there were problems in Louisville, and he called the second formation of the group into Louisville, Kentucky. I don't own the video you're watching right now. It is actually from the official Grandmaster Jay page here on YouTube. And I just wanted to give you a brief idea of the fact that they showed up, and they showed up in force, and they showed up well armed. A lot of white people that I've seen online not only think Grandmaster Jay, the original Grandmaster Jay, is a clown. They think this NFAC is doing cosplay, is what I heard one say, shooting each other. There was an incident when they were preparing for the formation and the march to downtown Louisville, where there was an accidental discharge of a gun. A shotgun blast went into cement. The cement scattered as shrapnel would, and injured minor injuries to 3 people. 2 of the 3 people came back and actually were part of the march. I'll get into more details on these things a little bit later. As I said, we're going to go in depth on all of this. I've also had people ask me, do you think Grandmaster Jay and the NFAC want a civil war or a race war? No, I don't think that's the purpose of this at all. I think it's a show of power, a show of force. I think he's trying to use it as an inspiration. He's also using it personally as a way of elevating his profile. I'm going to call it the way I see it. But at the same time, it's been incredibly powerful, and he's a very charismatic person. Do I think they want a civil war or a race war? No, I don't. I think that he's trying to prepare the black population in case there is a race war or a civil war. But I don't think that's what he wants. He's a smart guy, and I think he knows that they're greatly outnumbered. However, as his numbers grow, the group's potential to be what he says that he wants it to be, a national policing force, basically for the black communities. We'll have to wait and see where this goes. Some have also said, but I don't think this is about a race war. I think this is about black rights and black power, and it doesn't, Do I think there are members in the group that would probably kill me because I'm white, because they're racist? Yes, probably. But there are so many more white people that would kill a black person just because they're black. So it's not about stopping this organization. It's just about making people aware that this organization exists. Some people have said, if you don't like America, get out. And, well, why don't they just go back to where they came from? And I think that's kind of what Grandmaster Jay has in mind. He's wanting to start a black nation, a new nation in Africa with blacks. Liberia was a nation that was started to give the free slaves back in that 400-year period that long ago, to give the free slaves a homeland, and of course Liberia is not what he's after. He's wanting his own piece of land where his own nation. It may be a little delusional, but this is what he's wanting. It may come to fruition. Only time will tell. But I think that's his purpose. He considers himself the leader of the black nation. Is that a little delusional? Maybe. I don't know. Only time will tell. But the guy's not a clown. He's trying to be a lot of different things. He's trying to be a military leader. He's trying to be a spiritual leader. He's trying to be a political leader, and we'll see where this goes. But this isn't the last time you're going to hear me talk about Grandmaster Jay or the NFAC. Again, this is just kind of an introduction to what's going on in Louisville, and hopefully I'm going to have some guests from Louisville talking about their experiences, and I'm going to be talking with hopefully someone from the NFAC about their experiences. But at the moment, Grandmaster Jay says he's the only one that speaks for the NFAC, so I'm not really expecting him to contact me, but if he does, we will have a very civil, frank, and adult conversation about what's going on in the world, and I think that's a good thing. Rather a poignant edition of the American Doofus. Not a lot of humor this time, or a lot of things that aren't very pertinent, because things are serious when it comes to social injustice in the United States, and raising awareness is one of the things that the American Doofus can do. And thank you all for tuning into the American Doofus Show. I ask you to follow the page. I ask you to hit like, leave a comment, and I ask you to wear a mask, stay safe, be healthy. I love you all. See you next time.